and welcome to this Emergency Escape podcast. This is the second of a monthly thing happening 2 months after the last one we did. We're good at schedulings.
That's not how monthly works.
Yes. Hi. I am here and I am joined by Geoff.
Hello.
I'm so glad that wasn't Geoff falling over.
How do you know it wasn't?
I don't know that it wasn't. But he also said hello, fairly on time, so... I am also joined by my brother Drew.
Howdy.
Jennifer is here.
Here.
And we are joined by Skarr of Geek Worlds. Hey.
Bonjour.
And we're going to play... Apparently we're all going to play some games. I'm playing... Oh no. I died. I'm going to be playing Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, which is that that clicky-based idle clicker game that I was playing in the last stream, because it's a fairly simple game to just play and let run and stuff. What are other people playing?
I'm not playing anything at the moment. I'm getting to grips with something else for another project.
I'm playing Mario Odyssey.
Since I found the stupid purchase code, I'm just gonna set up a new Mojang account and see if I can play Minecraft that way.
Jennifer is very happy at the moment with Mojang and how things are going.
This wouldn't have happened if you hadn't been like, try this new mod pack.
It would have just happened the next time you tried to play Minecraft anyway. I'm not
No,
taking...
because everything's saved into the launcher on the other one.
Oh no, I've caught up with Bowser.
Oh no?
I was
Hi.
not...
Drew,
Yeah?
we're getting a lot of noise through from that.
Yeah, what the heck was that?
It's me catching up with Bowser.
Could you
turn the
maybe
volume down a
not?
little.
I've turned it down.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Everybody at home is appreciate you too.
I
No, we
apologise
don't.
everyone at home.
So yeah, as I
our
say,
ears.
this is a stream we're going to try and do about once a month. It's not going to be focusing on the game or talking about the game in question, although I may reference it occasionally, as I did last time. It's going to be focusing on news and just chatting and getting to know people and saying hey to people that are cool and accidentally clicking on things in the game is one way I'm not going to do that. It's a chat, it's a podcast, it's talking about funky news and things that's happening and gaming news and getting to know the peeps that we hang out with. You are the peeps.
Am I included in
You
this
are a
list
peep.
because I requested to be here?
You are included in this list. You're included in this particular episode of the podcast because you requested to be here. Or, to be slightly more accurate, this episode of the podcast is happening because you requested to be here.
Sorry, I'm playing Mario Odyssey and I'm just confronting Bowser and I forgot because I was in the Water Kingdom. I changed my Mario to like swimwear. So I've just like walked up to Bowser doing all the menacing stuff and I like go to put Cappy on and I put on like swimming goggles. It's quite rude.
This is awkward. I have a phone call, so talk amongst yourselves.
I've just tried creating a new Minecraft account for Mojang, and now Mojang's telling me it's an invalid email address or password. Created it, and they're right there in front of me.
Bowser's hat punched me.
Getting down.
How is Mario Odyssey?
Really
Yeah, is it
good.
any good?
Oh god, right. Sorry. I'm trying to punch Bowser with his hat. 2 seconds. Punch. No, it's really good. I have one slight annoyance with it, which I'm just actually, because I'm going to be talking, I'm just going to pause this for a second and just turn it off so I can concentrate on what I'm saying. It's really good, but my one problem with it is that it has motion controls for certain actions that can only be done via motion control.
Mm-hmm.
And you can turn this off, but you just lose the ability to have those powers. Kind of useful powers.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of the motion control. I mean, I think the only thing I've ever seen it used effectively was in Until Dawn. Motion control was because they had that do not move section to the game. So that was really cool. But the whole idea of using motion controls to do specific things in the game, I'm not as much a fan of.
I mean, you can still play the game with it's not like it's like you lose the ability to have Hattie or Cappy or anything. It's not like a serious thing, but it's just like one of what, for instance, the most useful one is you can throw your hat in like a circle, and it will hit everyone in the circle around you. That's really useful at times. Like there are bits where it's clearly designed that you're meant to use that. And the motion control for that one is the only one that doesn't quite work perfectly. Like all the others work fine. So actually, I was going to say, like, it's defended by the fact that the motion controls that does seem really useful doesn't quite work all of the time, and that's what annoys me.
And I'm back.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Hey.
It was just me talking about Mario Odyssey, basically.
Fair enough. I was going to say what's been happening.
Well, I probably haven't even played it, so I mean, what is it even on?
It's on the Switch. It's good. Like, it's honestly, it's really good. Like, it's one of the I haven't played a Mario game since Mario 64, and I've instantly fallen in love with it. And I'm a guy who can take or leave Mario. Like, I don't particularly think he's a fantastic character or anything like that. But I'm really enjoying it. It's a really good game. It's one of those ones that's really good that you can hop in for like 2 minutes. You can just collect like a couple of moons. It's really good. It's just good fun. It's good fun.
Good. I mean, that's always important to be able to. It's nice to have a game where you can leave it and not worry about where you're leaving it.
Yeah, like that's like I can play it for like 20. Like I've been playing it mostly at lunchtime. I play for like 20 minutes or so on my lunch break. Great for that.
Sean says, I wish Twitch had bothered to tell her to be here.
You should have just known.
I mean, you should just psychically get the thought. I thought that's how this worked. You just psychically thought about it, and then you appear. Like, we think really hard about streaming, and you just showed up. Is that not how this works?
No.
Oh.
I get a fancy little thing that pops up on my computer.
Ah.
Oh, actually. Still trying to figure out why it pops up on my phone. I think it has to do with my Google alerts.
So Drew, I'm gonna throw to you again because apparently.
Which thing am I talking about?
What do you think, Geoff? Should we start with the big topic or the side project I gave him that's turned into a big project?
The big topic is going to take
it first.
The big topic is going to take quite a long time, isn't it? Shall we start with that one?
Okay, Drew.
Let's start with that one.
On your marks, get set, go.
Am I going for a speed run?
Yeah, go for a speed run on this one.
So, in case anyone doesn't know, EA has released a small game called Star Wars Battlefront 2. I don't know if anyone's heard of this.
No, not come up at all. No.
I've heard
it's based on this.
And he died.
Oh, it's a real speed run.
You had to repeat that last bit.
But I stopped speaking because I thought someone else was speaking. Sorry. They released a game called Star Wars Battlefront 2. It was not perceived very well for it. Had lots of microtransactions tied into it. Microtransactions up the wazoo. Microtransactions that weren't just on cosmetic things, but also on like game-winning features. It did affect gameplay massively. This annoyed a lot of people, and they got annoyed. They went to Reddit. to be annoyed there, and EA were like, "Don't worry, we're the good guys here. We're only been voted the worst company twice, 2 years running. So, you know, we know what we're doing here. Don't worry about it." So they put up a post on Reddit to say, like, "Guys, we're so sorry. Like, you know, we understand that you want to play a Star Wars game with Luke Vader
and Darth Skywalker and
you know, those really important titular characters. So
Han
we put them
Organa
behind.
and...
Yeah, we made them to unlock to give you a sense of pride when you unlocked them. And, you know, mate, we did this because of data that we had, data that told us that this was the sensible thing to do, and we're EA and we know what we're doing, and it was to give you a sense of pride. And for some reason, it became the most downvoted thing on Reddit. It was almost as if people were really unhappy about that.
It's basically, that's when I mentioned to Drew, hey, have you seen this Reddit post that is the most hated post on Reddit? It has folded space and time in some ways.
It has now been like my obsession all week, reading every detail of this story, which is why I requested to be here tonight, because I really wanted to come on and be like, bleep EA. This is so annoying. Right, so they did this. Microtransactions, all of that. They locked important characters behind a 40-hour paywall. They then were like, "Don't worry, we're EA, we're great, we'll fix this." So they made the characters 75% cheaper, 1,000 credits to 15,000 credits to buy. So it makes sense. It's a lot more. And everyone was like, "That's kind of cool, you." And then Eurogamer came along and were like, "Hey, we've been reviewing this game, and we noticed that at the same time that they made the Luke Vader and Darth Skywalker, which is going to irritate me now, but I'm going to try and stick to it. We made them a lot cheaper. When they made them a lot cheaper, they also went from giving you 20,000 credits for completing the main campaign to 5,000 credits for completing the main game. That doesn't seem like something that a company like EA, who said that, 'Don't worry, we've got this, we'll fix this,' would do."
Hold my beer, I got this.
And then it was discovered that arcade mode, you had time limits where you could just not earn money for no reason whatsoever. And bear in mind, you spent money on the game to play this and get the coins. But they're like, "No, fuck you, you can't get coins." Where did we go from there? God.
This is the story that keeps on giving, really.
Honestly, it just keeps going. It keeps going.
Is this the thing where they're now under investigation for gambling allegations?
You jumped so far ahead.
Where are we up to? Have you said a bit about where EA got the phone call from Disney to say, "What are you doing?"
No, I haven't said yet. Well, so basically, that happened.
Hold on tight.
So that happened, and then like this was all before the game was released. Like this, I'm still before the game isn't even out yet. This is when it's on EA early access.
I get that you're excited, Drew. Please try not to hit your microphone.
EA, like the day the game comes out, they a message that basically says, "Hey guys, no, this wasn't EA. This was DICE, wasn't it?"
Yes.
DICE comes out and it's just like, "Hey guys, we are sorry. You know, we didn't mean to. We fucked up. We are going to disable microtransactions. We didn't realize that somehow we made this game accidentally for microtransactions. We're really sorry. We hadn't noticed that we made this really long, grindy game."
Because they weren't paying attention to that sort of thing, obviously.
Something happened in the code or something. But we will disable microtransactions, fix the game, and then we'll put them back in. And we're going to announce this on the day the game is released. They're just tied in on the same day.
Just so happens.
Yeah, but don't worry, microtransactions are coming back.
Yeah, that's the bit that got everybody worried.
Read the small print.
Yeah, it's not in small print. Like, it's in their statement. It says it right there. Like, this is a temporary move. We will bring microtransactions back.
I think if you actually read it, like, this is a temporary move. We're gonna take out the microtransactions temporarily.
I'll find the official statement in 2 seconds. So they do this. The game comes out. It got loads of media attention, surprisingly. BBC were reporting on it. BBC were reporting on it. NBC were reporting on it.
The BBC reported on it. I don't know if you've heard that one.
It's so many people reported on it, and apparently EA came out to their investors to be like, don't worry, we are not expecting that microtransactions being disabled would at all affect the amount of money that we projected that we would earn for this.
Gamers said, hold our beer, we got this.
Yeah. Oh god, right. So then Disney called EA, like, what, head of Disney gaming division?
It was, yeah, I think it was the gaming division. It was definitely marketing, someone on PR.
It was like the head of some department of Disney that deals with EA, called EA's boss, and were like,
what are you guys
Star
doing?
Wars. Okay, so I've actually found the original thing. So this is literally what they've put out, word for word. As we approach the worldwide launch, the day of, it's clear that many of you feel that there are still challenges in the design. We've heard concerns about potentially giving players unfair advantages, like turning Boba Fett from a 10-second kill to a 2-second killer. And we've heard that this is overshadowing an otherwise great game. This was never our intention. Sorry we didn't get this right. We hear you loud and clear, so we're going to turn off all in-game purchases. We will now spend more time listening, adjusting, bouncing, and tuning. This means that the option to purchase crystals in the game is now offline, and all progression will be earned through gameplay. The ability to purchase crystals in-game will become available at a later date. Only after we've made changes to the game. We'll share more details on this. Oscar Gabrielson, General Manager at DICE. So yeah, you
That's kind of like, yeah, people are starting to wake up to it.
oh wait, people are talking about this. Quick, get them out of there so we can sell some copies of this. And then we'll put the microtransactions in later. It's fine. Right, so that happens. EA's boss gives the call. EA boss gets a call from Disney. That happens. Loads of people are not buying the game. It's been reported that in the UK, physical sales are down 60% from Battlefront 1.
Well, that's because when you bought those games, you got the whole damn game.
Actually, no, you didn't. Not for Battlefront 1. There was a season pass. They basically admitted they rushed out an incomplete game, and they gave you a season pass so they could give you the DLC later on to fill in the rest of the gaps.
Maybe I'm thinking.
That also had loot boxes in it.
Am I thinking about Knights of the Old Republic then?
Possibly, yes.
That might be it. It's been a while.
Original.
Since
Skarr,
I
you could
played
just
a
say
Star Wars
that
game.
in.
I'm just waiting for the sum up to finish.
Yeah,
Still going.
Hold on to your butts. This gets long.
So okay, so loads of people on Reddit like figure out a bunch of things. Load of people on Reddit figure out a bunch of things. Like one of my favorite ones is if you have a part-time, like if you have a job that earns you at least 80 cents an hour. Easy to do. If you then take 80 cents an hour and put that into Battlefront, you take all that 80 cents an hour that you're earning, put it all into Battlefront, you are progressing at the same rate who spends the same amount of time just playing the game.
Rubbish.
Because your progress is tied into the microtransactions. Loads of people reported like about level 26. Like at the moment, like it's just a real grind at the moment to level up. It's super difficult to level up. This has most recently ended up, and this is the last of like the actual thing, and I could talk because I could talk and talk and talk and talk about this subject. The last of it is that there is an American dude in law who has been quoted as saying Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a Star Wars themed casino aimed directly at your children.
That was the guy from Hawaii, wasn't it?
Yes, that's the guy who...
Can I just say that I want from now on all lawyers to be referred to as dudes in law?
Like I can't remember. I could not remember like what like level of law he was, like judge, lawyer, senator.
Hold on, let's find out. Bear with.
The law levels.
The law level.
We don't go down to the law level.
His profession is law.
He
Well,
has
you're not
taken.
wrong.
He is multi-classed into law.
Belgium mission has
Here
come
we
out.
are. Just briefly, the guy's name is Chris Lee. He's a Hawaii state representative. He's a U.S. legislator.
Oh,
And we should also mention,
very senior lawman.
and we should mention now that he also described it as, in the following words: "It's a trap."
Well,
I
Yes.
summed it up pretty nicely.
it
Yeah.
shows he knows the source material.
Yep.
He said that, and then you've got the Australian and Belgian gaming commissions are both saying that this game, they are investigating this game to see if it is indeed gambling, and try and get the game banned potentially if that's, or like microtransactions like this banned, which is EA for doing this.
But if they do that, if Belgium does that, and that's not going to affect Battlefront, that's going to affect pretty much every game currently on the market.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily, because what I read about it is the only thing they're going to ban is microtransactions where you do not know what you're going to get.
That's pretty much every game on the market.
Yeah, so like Overwatch.
Overwatch, Shadow of War. What else?
Oh, see, I play simple games where I only pay
Yeah.
for knowing like
Destiny 2.
know what
Yeah.
I'm going to get, so I pay for it.
Destiny 2 doesn't have microtransactions where you don't know what you're going to get.
Correction, it does. You can buy silver and use those silver to buy bright engrams.
Okay, then I stand corrected.
I don't think the Evil Within 2 has more microtransactions.
I don't know. I guess all of my games are really simple because I mean, the only game I have where you kind of don't know what you're going to get is the game where it has a gotcha and it lets you, and so you put in a ticket and then you get a random piece of clothing, but it shows all the pieces of the clothing that you can get. It's just randomized.
Oh, and you can also include Call of Duty and PlayerUnknown in that as well.
So Eki Fatum in the chat, or Iki Fatum, I don't know how to pronounce your username, bud, has said, will this be the end of gacha games? I really hope not, because
It depends.
I'm worried about legal people getting in on this. Like, I want this to be sorted by the gaming industry itself going, this is a really bloody dumb idea.
Are we into,
Yeah.
And
Are we into the
seeing
discussion
that
part
this
now?
is a really dumb idea. We are at the discussion part now.
Okay.
Right. Sorry, very quick, because I need to go make a quick phone call in a second. So just want to say, like, I'm really happy that like it's being investigated on this level, because there's no way the gaming industry would even consider doing this unless there's actual lawmakers going around.
Okay, I'm gonna counterpoint that and say, game makers will realize this is a bad thing if suddenly lots of money doesn't come out for the games that they are expecting to cause lots of money to come to their company.
This is
If
true.
you don't
Yes.
like this thing to occur, then don't buy that game. Don't give the people that
However-
are making that game this money, and they will go,
How,
that was a bad
However-
idea. We won't.
can I counterpoint that then? Because I did read an interesting comment recently on that. If people don't buy publishers' games, they're going to say, "Oh, we need to do something to make more money on the next game to recoup our losses." So they put more stuff in to get your money.
Then don't
Also-
buy that game either.
Also,
Make it clear that that's why you're not buying the game. Shout
Also,
about it
bear-
on Reddit. Make that the most downvoted comment on Reddit. Then they might get there.
Also, bear in mind that you've got that this is a Star Wars game. People are going to buy it because it's Star Wars. I've seen plenty of people going like, I don't care for the microtransactions. I bought this because it's Star Wars. People will just do that. So EA gonna probably make some money out of this. Then they
That's
just put
interesting comment.
microtransactions back in, and then make some money because people will just go, oh well, that's like we're just because there will be people out there who will get affected by this microtransactions. I have this problem because I'm the type of person who can get affected by this. Like, I am the type of person who will go, yeah, it's a couple of quid, I'll throw a couple of quid in. This sort of thing. Like, I've done it on GTA, I've done it on other games. This is the type of thing that I do not want to see in games. I don't want to buy £60 games to see the same shit I see on mobiles.
Eki Fatum's just an interesting comment. Is this more about getting tax revenue from gambling law, banning the games? I don't think
No.
anybody said anything about banning the games.
The
But at the
problem
same
is that
time,
if the games are found to be gambling, they will not be able to be sold to children, which means that any games that have gambling in them is It doesn't, because I don't know Latin. I'll. Hey Google, how do you say "esyifatum"?
That's really going to help. Can I jump in a bit quickly? Because
Google didn't know.
It's
Because loot boxes and this sort of microtransaction action has been around for years. You got like the original Team Fortress 2. The way they did it was you earn crates for free, but you had to buy the keys from the Steam store.
Yes.
So this sort of thing has been around for years. It only seems to have come to prominence now because so many games and so many publishers are doing it.
The problem I've got with it is I have no problem with it being a thing that only affects cosmetics.
This is true. I'm with you on this. Yes.
If it's a case of something like the bright engrams in Destiny 2,
That's fine. That's not actually affecting the gameplay. That's more cosmetic stuff.
that just means that my character won't look blue, he'll look red, or something along those lines. I can
Overwatch
live
is-
with not
yeah.
paying that.
Yeah.
Overwatch, the same. It's
Overwatch is the
skins
same
for
because-
the characters. It's not the character themselves.
I will admit I do pay money for loot boxes on Overwatch for some of the special events, but again, that's what I like about Overwatch is that whatever you do, whatever items you get, your character stays the same damage, the same skill, the same health. It doesn't actually improve at all. But what you buy is skins. You buy how
you
it
buy
looks.
an awesome
basically.
look.
Yeah, and I've got no problem with that. You're absolutely right.
Skarr, sorry, you were going to say something there about possibly esyifatum.
no, I was trying to see how it's pronounced. I think it's Eke Fatum, because I did some Latin once.
We'll
I'll
go.
go with that.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that. But I think the problem I have.
How are
and
we
the-
doing there, Mr. Fathom?
The problem I've got with it is when you buy a game, you're trying to work you up, and it's the same in things like World of Warcraft as well, I guess, or other online games, like where you work your way up, and suddenly you come across someone who's just like basically bought their equipment, and they're so much better than you. It's that thing that, like the patents that Activision filed. Do we want to mention that at all?
Yeah, go on then.
So what this is, Activision filed a patent to say, if player A, who's a new player, doesn't have anything like, he's basically got the starting gear, they will pair him with player B, who has got some really fine and fancy equipment. Player A will then see player B playing, and think to himself, he's got really good equipment. I want that equipment, and then they will direct him to the store where he can buy that equipment. So they're using the matchmaking for advertising.
That feels like it should be illegal.
Nobody said it isn't because nobody's actually done anything with it yet. It is only a patent at the moment, but
I mean, the thing is, they can patent the technology and never use it.
I
There is
suppose.
that. Yeah, there is that. But it's just the fact that they've done it, and you've got. It's just the fact that it's just come up so much lately. That's probably what's brought it into prominence, especially with something like Star Wars, because the old Star Wars Battlefront had the same sort of thing. I think it's mainly just come on top of everything else that's happened this year.
Yeah. It's kind of in everything all at once. I stand past my original point of, if you don't like this being in the games, make it clear that this is why you're not buying the game.
I saw another interesting point of view on this. If you feel that you don't have to pay, you can play the game just as well, but you don't have to pay, you're probably more likely to pay because you don't feel that pressure. That's probably why Overwatch works so well, because you don't have to buy cosmetic stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
But you can do. You have the choice to, so you do. But if you feel that you have to buy it, to keep up with other players, you're less likely to.
I guess
Yeah.
that makes a certain amount of sense.
I mean, I know there's like the game I was telling you about where there's the gotcha and you randomly get dresses. That's not the only way you can get outfits. You also get outfits, playing parts of the game. The outfits that you get by paying are just, slightly fancier outfits. There's nothing that it doesn't affect your progress in the game. It doesn't affect how the game runs or anything like that. It's just a fancier outfit. So, by buying that, you're buying it purely because you want to own that specific outfit, not because it's going to affect your progress in the game or anything.
Hmm.
Sorry, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Where are we at?
Explain
we're
to me,
still-
but I don't think I did a very good job.
We're still at loot boxes. I think it's something that we just have to wait and see how it pans out.
I mean,
Yeah.
my big
I'm-
concern with the legal people getting involved, and I didn't fully get through this argument earlier, but I'm going to try and get through it here now. If the legal people get involved and it becomes laws, there are two approaches that people are going to take to this, and the problem is it'll become law in Belgium, which will affect all of Europe's, and it will become a law in Australia, which will affect all of Australia. Neither of those places are where EA is.
This is true.
EA
That's a
is a
very
global
true
company that is in America and will probably see a large part of its user base being American. Therefore, they won't necessarily change their business practice to go around this, which will mean that the games will still have this stuff in it until it becomes a problem in America.
Did you
And what
mention?
will come to Europe and Australia is a watered down or changed version of the game, or a not changed version of the game that will be judged harshly by the relative classification boards.
Me again, quickly. Did you include Hawaii in that list?
I did not.
Because that
Hawaii
is US.
America,
Hawaii
Hawaii
is
is
America.
America.
Yeah.
but
So why would that?
Hawaii is one of the is where Legal Dude is, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
Mr. Chris Lee. That's where he is. So he would have clout on that, I think.
Right. I mean, also to point out that like, while Belgium and Australia are probably not their fans, or like like not their biggest customer base. Sorry, what was I on about? Like they're still if the games get outright banned there, that's a lot of money they're losing.
Yes, I'm not saying that it's not going to cause them a problem, but it's also not going to cause
Great heartbreak.
Like
Yeah.
if Belgium do it and they manage to get it banned across Europe,
yes.
bans it as well, it could be enough to maybe go like, right, well, we can't release the games there.
It's possible.
I just think if it becomes a thing that legal people are involved in, I find that more iffy than if it's a problem that is in the market that we can, like the gaming community as a whole can solve on its own.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
at least it's going to make EA go like, or it's going to make the gaming industry. It's going to change things either way. Like either it's the law is going to get involved, or the game companies are going to go, we can't do this. I mean, what was that game? I've noted a game down for this. 2 seconds.
I'd just like to come back to what you were saying, John, about if Belgium decided to ban the games, all of
Yes.
Europe should have to. I don't think it would actually, because still, even if the European Union works for the majority of Europe, we still have our own laws on every single crime problem. So that would be like a great debate between all the countries. But I don't think every country would adopt it, because they see that they'll just first. They don't really care about video games. I mean, from my country, for France, we don't fucking care about video games. It's the least of our problems. So if they can't tax the game, I mean, if it's something about taxing the game on the mini market, that would maybe make them do a move. But if they can't get their hands on the money, they won't care. So basically, maybe Belgium will care, but maybe not other countries.
I just know that there was a lot of problems, granted, quite a few years ago in Europe, where Germany had and still has the harshest censorship on games, and a lot of games that came to Europe in the early days of gaming were censored for Germany in the European dubs of them, and were that censorship came across the whole of Europe because the games makers were smaller at the time, I grant you, and were just blanket censoring it for Europe to mean the harshest place in Europe, which was Germany.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it might not go that way, but there is it's going to change things in the gaming industry. And there's one game that so far, Clicker Heroes 2, has actually swapped from a microtransaction model to it's now $29.99.
Nice.
See, if it's a good enough game, I'd be willing to pay to play the game. Without microtransactions, just give me everything and I'll pay for the game.
I prefer an either or situation. If they release Battlefront 2 and went, here's Battlefront 2, it's got microtransactions in it, but it costs you nothing to play. I would not have a problem with that.
I think that's part of the point, the fact that it costs you money up front to play it, even before you get to that stage. If it had been free to play, then sure, that's how a lot of games work. That's how a lot of games make their money.
Yeah.
Or, as I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, Overwatch, where it's it's all content that basically is locked behind the loot crates. Then yes, I'm not saying
that it had a lot to do with that as well. Eki. It points out that a lot of the censorship in Germany had mostly to do with Third Reich imagery. They also had a very heavy censorship on zombies and gore and on those things. And so, yeah, it wasn't just Third Reich imagery, but that was a big part of it. For instance, the mysterious mustache man who's in
Wolfenstein.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, they could do an Overwatch style thing where it's all the nonsense content, and I'm not saying that Overwatch really gets away with it completely, because I would like it if I could. I would probably put more money into Overwatch if I could just go, I want to buy that skin.
Would you prefer it if it was a case of, with something like Overwatch or the cosmetic items in Destiny, in that you could buy the random chance and it was, say, £2-3, or you could buy the specific one you wanted and it was a little bit more expensive, but you didn't have the random chance?
See, I mean, with Overwatch, there are a few skins that I'm because the one thing that annoys me about Overwatch is there are just characters I don't play, but I have the super cool skins for.
Oh yeah, I've got those. I'm like that on mine.
Exactly. It's annoying thing to me, and it's just oh well, I would put down a couple of quid and buy a loot crate, or I'd buy a couple of quid and just get that one skin that I really want. I wish there was that option. Yes, you can get credits and then buy them, but you can't just buy credits.
No, that's the other thing. Credits either come from the box or from duplicate items, which that's really annoying.
Yeah, and it's
So can you not just sell items that you don't want?
No, you can't. You can't. You get credits either. But having said that, if you get a number of loot boxes, chances are you can get some credits out of it. So some of the top class skins you can buy with credits anyway. You don't have to rely on loot boxes for them.
Right.
Yeah, but it's that you can't just go right, I want that skin. Here's £2 for 3,000 credits. Give me that skin. If they had that option, I think I'd put more money into Overwatch, because I tend to avoid things where it's well, I don't know what I'm gonna get. Yes, I'm gonna get a bunch of items. But really, with Overwatch, I have 4, maybe 5 characters I seriously play. Actually, I'm going to get anything for those characters, or if there was a way of me going or if it was set up in such a way of right, you play these characters, you are more likely to earn their stuff.
Yeah, weighted towards the people that you play.
Yeah, because they collect those stats. They know who you play as. They show it to you all of the time. But there's no way of doing that. I put more money into that, and I prefer. But I'm not sitting here going oh, screw Overwatch, don't play Overwatch, it's got microtransactions in it. Because at the end of the day, it's nothing that, is a game-winning advantage. It's not tied to my progression, and it's not forced in front of my face constantly. Like, yes, okay, you buy the loot boxes, like the place where you go to do your loot boxes is in the same place where you purchase loot boxes. It's a little annoying, but it's not like, well, that guy's just won because he's got super
Eshi
cool
Phantom
advantages.
has joined the FBF party. Hello, welcome
Hey.
in. Pick up your
Hey.
sword and let's take this fight to the final boss.
Try typing exclamation mark Discord. Let's see if that works.
Okay, let me do that.
And lastly, you got to remember that EA is also the company that not too long ago did trademark that very
That's fair.
targeted using you to make other people buy loot crates thing.
We
I thought that was
did discuss
Activision. That was Activision, wasn't it?
Was it Activision? I swear it was. Not EA. It's microtransaction stuff, so I just assume it's EA. Really.
No, I think everybody's got
I
There's
attacked
something else I
loot
was gonna say.
boxes with my mighty sword for 31 damage.
Hey.
Oh no, sorry, it was Activision.
Yeah.
So, Drew,
Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
Drew, I'm going to suggest we move along to tell me about your homework.
Okay. Right, so I'm going to start this off right at the very beginning. Good, best place to start all of this, which is, so John says to me, I say to John, hey John, can I come on a podcast and be like, screw EA?
And I said, sure.
Sure. And then the next day, John says to me, what? And he goes, what WTF are Pringles? Prongles, sorry. WTF are Prongles.
I know what Pringles are.
I
let's
heard
be
about
clear.
this. Oh, I heard about this one. Is this that picture that's been doing the rounds on Twitter?
Oh my god, you don't even know half of it, Geoff, if that's all you know.
That is all I've seen, to be honest.
Right, okay, so
To rewind, I saw that picture on Twitter and thought, what the F are Prongles? Looked into it a little bit and said, Drew, I think there's a thing here.
So there is a thing here. So, Prongles,
Geek
a
World
can...
Star, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the final boss fight party. Pick up your sword and let's face this final boss together. Is that
Yes.
working, or do I shorten that?
Do you have to do it right when people in the middle of...
It's welcoming
Go on.
people in as the thing goes off.
Go on, Drew. Go on.
Okay, so there was a Twitter post that went up where somebody had gone to Target in
Yes.
America, it was some America, yeah, and had found a can of Prongles.
Once you pop, they're great.
Anti-pop, that's great. And it was salt and potato flavor. Everyone was like, what the hell is this? And when it was scanned in at checkout, it was listed as a Cards Against Humanity item, and on the Prongles can is a picture of a cartoon pig, like a mascot character riding a skateboard. And if you look at the skateboard closely enough, you'll see at the top that it has CAH at the top, Cards Against Humanity,
At the moment.
at the top of the
Oh,
skateboard.
we keep going, but I'm just
You're going to load up.
I'm gonna look it up and get the picture up.
So Twitter, so loads of people
No
went
Google, I
into
did mean Prongles.
Go on.
Later, a Twitter account was set up for it. The Twitter account only follows. I'm gonna get the name of the people because I mentioned it to John already. Should grab that. Where they promised that they were going to be doing new flavors soon. Which I'm going to get into that in a second because there's been further developments that happened like 2 hours ago. E6 to John. John, we talk too much.
A little bit.
Uh,
So here, if you're watching the stream, is a picture of the Prongles cans in store. So as you can see, there's the salt and potato Prongles, and then next to them is onions and cream. Both of them feature the same cartoon pig.
Yeah.
There's the CAH on the top of his skateboard, and it's also on the side of the jet ski that the Prongles pig is riding in the onions and cream.
You went ahead.
Sorry, it's the picture I got has both of them on it.
No, that's fine.
There is the phrase, once you pop, that's great.
So there was a Twitter account that was promising new flavors coming soon. Prongles are a new thing, and some eagle-eyed spotter noticed that the Twitter account was only following 2 people, which was 6-time NBA champion Scott Pepin and Smash Mouth, the band. All-Star.
Those guys.
Yeah. Reddit, where they went in and they went and investigated it. Somebody got one of the can of Prongles and ripped the label off to find it was the Australian version of Pringles.
Yep.
Relabeled as Prongles. And then what was the next development? Oh, then there was a whole thing that turned out to be nothing related to what Prongles was, so I'm going to ignore it. But 2 hours ago, the Prongles website has now updated.
Oh.
Functioning website. So I can now say, don't go and look at the website if you're planning to, just yet, John. So the top of the website, it says, introducing original Prongles from the company formerly known as Cards Against Humanity. So Cards Against Humanity are now game business. They're now making Prongles. There has been a tweet that went out about this from Cards Against Humanity themselves. Cards Against Humanity says, effective today, we are leaving the gaming industry. It's time to focus on our real passion. Revolution the snack food with our new brand, Original Prongles. Featuring the tagline, once you pop, that's great. Including Cards Against Humanity staff people, such as the Duke of URL, saying, been waiting for this for a long day. Prongles began as a dream, and now finally everyone around the country will get a taste of our candy. Once you pop, that's great, with a link back to that tweet. Jen from Cards Against Humanity says, hey, so this is hard. I'm leaving my role at Cards Against Humanity effective today. It's time to focus on my real passion, chips. Maria from Cards Against Humanity, hi, excited to announce that I've joined the Prongles chip team. Our motto, once you pop, that's great. Which it just never gets less fun to say. So, first of all, I feel like, do you want the description of the website and me to go down the website, or do you want me to play you the Prongles song?
Oh, I want to be played the Prongles song.
Prongles song.
Okay, so I'm just going to do this on my phone and hold it up to my microphone, so if this sounds awful.
If this sounds awful, then go and listen to the Prongles song yourself after the stream.
I got 2 cans of pounds on about the tops, cause once you pop, to keep the lids locked would be the greatest mistake of my life. That's right, H-O-G, share your Prongles with me. Everybody wanna chip and everybody beg. Everybody wanna chip and everybody beg for more. For only $2.99, you can buy them at the store. Getting tickle piece from the salt and potato. If you really wanna get in hoggy hog heaven, turn it up and I'll crank it to 11. On the top of the Greek can, know what I mean?
That's a sample of the Prongles song. You can find it all on the website.
I'm currently think I'm dying from 90s overdose.
Okay.
That hurt my brain just a little bit.
It's available to download as well, just in case anyone was deadly.
There's a ringtone.
Yeah. I'll go. I'm literally just going to go down their website now because it's fantastic.
Do you want me to show that on the stream at all?
Yeah, if you want to show it on the stream. So let me know when you got it up, and I'll go down.
1 moment.
I'm just gonna I'll start my description now. So at the top we have it saying introducing Prongles.
Sorry, is it just Prongles.com?
Originalprongles.com.
Oh right, okay, because that's led me to something else.
At the top of the website you have originalprongles.com, formerly known as Cards Against Humanity. You have a picture gallery that.
Sorry,
put it up.
I've got it, but it's that's no.
It's very. So at the top we have a picture gallery, which if you scroll through it is pictures of kids doing sporty things with the Prongles mascot photoshopped into every single photo. It's quite beautiful. There's some catchphrases: stack 'em, put 'em in your mouth. You won't be able to stop eating Prongles.
Let me see.
Make America crunch again. Prongles in the morning and also the evening. Our story, looking for flavor. You've crunched to the right place. Here at Prongles, we have a passion for snackable potato chips. Once you detonate one of these salty, savory flavor bombs in your mouth, we think you'll agree. It all started with the dream and the love of the crunch.
So
that's why we were retired.
Anyone watching the stream at the moment, I've just switched over to the Prongles website.
We've retired our popular card game Cards Against Humanity to pursue our real passion, dominating the global snack food industry with the revolutionary potato chip. Our motto reflects our commitment to the bold flavors and bold thinking. Once you pop, that's great. Available in 2 irresistible flavors: salt and potato, real white salt. Oh, sorry, perfectly white salt. They're sold out. And onions and cream flavor, a match made in heaven, tangy Malaysian onions slathered in thick white cream, also sold out. There is currently a vote, and I don't know how real this vote is, but it's the vote for the next Prongles flavor, because Prongles believes in the power of democracy. The 3 flavors you can choose from are tacos and burritos, whole fish, and America.
America would just taste like shit and disappointment.
So, I mean, they've got descriptions, obviously. Tacos and burritos, the south of the border fiesta will explode in your mouth. Al caliente. Fresh from the ocean, so you can eat it on a chip.
That's the taste of fish.
And America, George Washington would love this flavor of Prongle.
To be clear, at the moment, whole fish is winning this vote. In case you can't see the bars on this, it's 4 million to whole fish, compared to 2 million to America.
And tacos. We get to the FAQ bit now. This is, again, like, if you ever read any of the Cards Against Humanity promotions or anything like that, the FAQs are generally the best bit.
This is definitely one of their FAQs.
So, is this thing for real? Absolutely. You can buy Prongles right here on this website and at retailers nationwide.
Except you can't buy them on the website anymore because they're sold out.
Just launched a huge holiday promotion called Cards Against Humanity Saves America. We don't do that kind of stuff anymore. Why are you doing this? Our research shows that the snack food industry is bigger and more profitable than the board games industry. Are there any surprises that come in the can of Prongles? The only thing you will get in each of the cans is the fresh taste of potatoes and 100% white salt. Cards Against Humanity cards in Prongles. No, we don't make card games anymore. If I buy Prongles expecting to get anything other than chips, will I be disappointed? We believe there's nothing disappointing about the unforgettable crunch of original Prongles. What's the deal with the hog? The Prongles hog. The hogs are one of the only animals that will eat potatoes. Braden loves extreme sports and lives life at one speed, whole hog. He also loves to cool down with a can of Prongles while hanging out with his best friends, Justin Bieber. I've popped. Now what? That's great. For my kids to eat. They're not only safe, they're downright nutritious. The USDA now classifies Prongles as a fruit or vegetable.
It's definitely one of the two.
What type of onions do you use in the onions and cream flavour? Regular onion. What's the best way to eat a prongle? The classic way to eat a prongle is straight out of the can. Looking for something a little classier? Try stacking some on a plate before digging in. Cozy date night? Try floating a few of those bad boys in a mug for some sweet slavery bliss. What's it like to eat Prongles? Oh my god, it's the best. All of the chips in my container were pulverized. Prongles makes no guarantee of chips' integrity flying overseas shipments from Malaysia. In my mind, it sounds like you need some Prongles.
Once you grate, that's pop.
And then it keeps going. So then there's more mottos going across, which in the order I'm seeing, hemorrhoid system relief. Please clap. These Prongles are making me thirsty. Once you grate, that's pop. Classic shape, oval. And Prongles very much. Prongles is proud to support prostate cancer. How many Prongles can you fit? That's the entire sentence. Prongles is giving away $50,000. Click here, and nothing happens. And America is already great. You can download free wallpaper of
Braden, a balanced
wallpapers.
breakfast, chips, different chips, flavours, MACA, and potatoes.
You can sign the guest book, and there is a contact us page, a contact us button, and a download the Prongles song button at the bottom of the.
Oh, the contact that the leave a note button is currently under construction.
Yeah, it says we value your opinion. Original Prongles at AOL.com. And then you ability to download the Prongles song. So it seems that basically, John, to answer your question, WTF for Prongles, it's a promotional thing from Cards Against Humanity, who recently vowed to save America. They don't do that anymore because they don't make card games.
They don't make card games. They make chips now.
They're going to save America through chips.
So yeah, that's WTF Prongles. Thank you for that, roving reporter and investigative journalist Andrew.
Oh my god, it was my honest pleasure to do that, and I'm so happy that I was able to come here and actually answer the question, because 2 hours ago they announced what it was.
I'm glad they were timely with their announcements.
Yeah.
So, Geoff, do you have anything you wish to talk about at the moment?
News-wise, or
anything-wise?
Anything. Are we going to get on to the games we've been playing at some point? Because that's something I would like to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So, as you may know, recently I got Assassin's Creed Origins, and as you are probably aware, Assassin's Creed is one of my favourite game series.
I'm aware of both of those things.
Yes. However, I am not enjoying Assassin's Creed Origins very much. And I've been looking at, and I think part of the reason is the combat system in it is completely changed from what it was before. Do you remember the combat system used to be like a counter mechanic, so you'd counter the enemy, then attack them while they're stunned?
Yep.
This time it's more enemies rush at you and you're kind of dodging out the way and swinging at them. It's been described as like Dark Souls or Breath of the Wild, but I can't make that comparison because I haven't played either of those games, but I'm really having trouble with it. I'm really having trouble getting to grips with it. It just feels like I'm actually dreading getting into fights now, whereas before I'd be rushing to get into fights. I'm actually dreading it now.
But is it because it's like slightly tougher now, or like is it just not pleasant to play?
I'm not enjoying the combat at all. A lot of the stuff is still great. Sneaking around a fortress is good, but then if anybody spots you, you might as well just like give up and restart, because then you get about 4 or 5 guys coming at you, all attacking you at once, and I just can't handle that. I just can't get to grips with that at all. Especially when some of them are big and they can like floor you in one hit, and it's just a lot to keep track of. And I'm not really having fun with it.
Oh, that's fair.
Guys in the chat, are you playing? Anybody here playing Assassin's Creed Origins at all? Let us know what you think.
Yeah. The other problem I've got with it is, it's an interesting one. The pacing of the story. So the story is divided up into quests, and each quest is like got a recommended level. So it's kind of like a MMORPG in that fact. Like you got a quest to assassinate a guy. It may be like level 18, and you're level 15. So you got to go off and do some leveling up before you attempt it.
Right.
But then there's like so much stuff to do, and the map is so widespread. It's easy to forget what you were doing. I've actually got very little idea of what's going on in this story now, because there's just like been so much to do. Whereas before, in previous games, you could like there's some side quests as well, but there's always like a marker to say, this is where the story is. If you want more story, go here. Yeah. But now it's like, okay, here you go. Here's a list of quests. One of them's the story. We don't mind. Do what you want.
That seems a bit of an issue.
And it just kind of feels to me like I don't know if I'm gonna be bothered finishing it, and really that leads me on to like, do I want to carry on playing it? And for an Assassin's Creed game, that's not really what I would have wanted.
That sounds poop. Can I suggest Mario Odyssey instead? It's really good.
Actually, no. The other game I started playing recently, L.A. Noire, which is amazing, which is just as it was all those many years ago.
Oh, can I just say one more thing I really enjoy about Mario Odyssey?
How many things have you said that you really enjoyed about Mario Odyssey?
I think I've only really said the downside. I've said I'm enjoying it, and I've said the big downside I have about it.
Okay, so what's a good side?
Like jumping into the game and being able to do like all of the moves that you remember from like the classic Mario games, that's great. But the Cappy,
oh yeah,
and what Cappy adds to the game is really good. So if you don't know, Cappy is Mario's
cap,
and he allows you to. I can't try to remember how they put it in a game.
It's not possess, is it?
Capture, borrow. You become the thing, and it's really good for that. And it's really good on like you kind of just see the traditional Mario things, like you see the bullet bill, and you're like, right, I instantly know what this bullet bill is used for. And they use them like really cleverly for like puzzles and stuff. My favorite one so far being that Goombas stack. A bunch of Goombas. You've got to stack them up to do something. My favorite example of this is in one of the levels, there is a female Goomba, and she's up on a high platform, so you have to stack a bunch of Goombas up and walk close to her so she'll fall in love with you and give you a power move. Good fun, like I said, like you see the bullet bill and you're like, right, bullet bill can fly, chain chomp, that's for destroying something, obviously. Like, it's just very, you don't like go like, oh god, what have I got to do? Well, there's a bullet bill here, and what am I meant to use that for? Like, it just is obvious if you have played Mario games before. And I'm sure if you don't play Mario games, it would be fairly obvious as well. It's just solid good fun. I can't.
I've played the multiplayer side of it, and that is awesome fun as well. I don't know if have you had a go at that yet, Drew?
I haven't found a second player yet.
You need to work on that, maybe.
So I'm thinking I'm going to be bringing it down at Christmas.
Drag a friend around and get them to play it with you.
Well, I was going to say, I'm coming down at Christmas. Should we record some?
Maybe, but Nintendo get a bit funny about that.
Yeah, unless you do what some guys on the internet do, and you put something else in a video that's copyrighted. Then they can't decide who gets the copyright claim.
So
the Jim Sterling thing.
We just have to very loudly sing a song really well, and then we can play
it's a very particular process where you've got to find stuff from particular companies who always do this, John.
Right.
Like two or three of them do this. It just gives the money to no one because.
What you do is you just put like erase a chains of love on it, and then nobody gets the copyright on it.
Okay, I think we can handle that.
Yep.
No, we'll definitely play it at the very least. I don't know whether we'll do anything with it in terms of streamy or watchy or what, but watch this space.
I really
but
want
no,
to change my mind.
playing multiplayer is awesome because player 1 gets to play as Mario.
A bird just nicked Cappy.
And player 2 gets to play as Cappy.
I was just saying about how great Cappy was and the birds took him away.
And so you might think that playing as Cappy is a bit crap. But it's actually really fun because you whiz around the level, like you whiz around the area immediately around Mario. And you can attack the enemies and you can go to hidden things, and you can also use your power to capture things for the player playing as player 1. So for instance, when I was at work playing it, the guy that was playing it was in the water level. And so he was diving down under the water swimming, and I was flying around taking out the some of the enemies that were under the water that are like seaweed leaves.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't actually know the game that well.
Yeah, I know what John's on about.
And he was starting to get low on oxygen, so I went to try and get him an oxygen bubble, and I could get him an oxygen bubble. And then we found cheap fish. And so I made him a fish. And then he was a fish. That's kind of the end of that story, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fish
So yeah, going back to
underwater basically is where we're going with this.
going back to Assassin's Creed Origins, which is where we started this. People have said it's like one of the best, and it's like been revamped, and yeah, I'm sure people people are enjoying it. I'm just finding it very hard to do, and I want to say I'll give it a break and come back to it at a later date, but I don't know if I would.
If you give it a break, it might be one of those breaks that never ends.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, I've been disappointed in the last Assassin's Creed because it looks too much like what Witcher would be, or maybe even Shadow of Mordor in certain aspects. And yes, it's really different from what I was used to see in Assassin's Creed. So, well, when I see people play that game, I don't see an Assassin's Creed game. I see any game that is not Assassin's Creed.
Well, hello.
Sorry?
And I just lost my right here.
Yes, I think we just lost monetization on this for.
Also.
But yeah, I'm with you, Skarr, because people were complaining that the system was too much like, press a button to dodge, press a button to attack. I like that. I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that system, and I'm a bit annoyed that they got rid of it.
But also the kind of parkour way to move around the buildings, it's not the same anymore. It really looks like the parkour way they used in Shadow of Mordor, you see. Or for example, when I see the adding of the spawning of the horse.
Yeah. Or camel.
Or camel. It's totally Witcher. Because first time well, not the first time I saw that, but I saw that mainly in kind of Witcher games.
I think what it is, they're trying to copy games like that, copy games like Dark Souls, copy games like Witcher because they've been so successful.
Yeah, but it's killing their own game actually to do that, because the reason I was playing Assassin's Creed, it's because it looked like Assassin's Creed. It was different from The Witcher. If I wanted to play The Witcher, I would play The Witcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
And I've played and finished like every major Assassin's Creed game that I've started, and I really don't want this one to be the first, but it looks like it's going to be. Even things like Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2, I really enjoyed them. I really loved them because they had their own unique style.
Yeah, and even if I didn't like Watch Dogs that much, I have to admit there was no two games that looked so much like as Watch Dogs. Here with this one, it's like it's the end of what we knew was Assassin's Creed, and they're creating a new kind of game which has the same name, but has nothing to do with the rest of the series.
I agree. I agree. I'm with Skarr. I think we're going to be
Plus,
people gonna love it's a sort of game that you'd use to introduce new players to the series. It seems like, rather than existing players.
That's slightly disappointing, yeah.
But also, it's something like they used to do the storyline was about the Templars and the Assassins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that right now the game is before even the Templars could exist. So.
Well, yeah, I guess if you're going to do that, if the enemies are going to be the Templars, you can't go back much earlier than AC1 anyway.
Yeah, you can't go much.
You can actually. In the lore of the Templars and the it depends how far back you go. But I agree. Like, no, this is supposed to be like the origins of the Assassin Brotherhood and stuff like that.
Yeah, but even that they fucked up because actually the origins of the assassins they explained it in the first game. The historical origins, they kept it for the first game.
Where does Skarr come from?
And the game they're doing right now, the game we have now, is just contradicting a bit the first game on that.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I saw, because I did not see, of course, the whole game. Maybe they had the final twist where to bring back the game from the original. Like we make a complete different storyline, but at the end we have a couple of lines that go to the original.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I hope they do something different. I hope they go back and kind of go back to their roots a bit with the next one. But I'm not holding my breath on it. I'd rather stick with things like Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Even Assassin's Creed Unity wasn't bad.
Sorry, what?
I think there's a counterpoint coming in for that one, Geoff.
No, it's just gonna Unity is really bad.
Yeah, but I completed it. That's the difference between this one and the current one.
That's fair.
That's personal taste.
Well, it's personal taste. It's just.
Yeah, but for me, I enjoyed a lot Batman Arkham Origins, but everyone hated it. So, personal taste.
It's that system as well. It's the Arkham system that they brought into it. The whole dodge and counter and attack thing that they brought into it.
Yeah, but it's actually I kind of like that kind of way of fighting, but I agree with you on the fact that it has nothing to do with Assassin's Creed, because the whole series has been built on another gameplay on that. So that doesn't make sense to change it all for the last game. It's like, I don't know, I make suddenly in Batman Arkham I make you
do that.
I make you fight like in Dark Souls.
I mean, there's a reason I don't play Dark Souls, and it's because I don't enjoy Dark Souls.
Yeah, I wouldn't play Dark Souls because I know I wouldn't.
And the few times that I have played Dark Souls, I didn't like it.
I never played
Times
Dark
that
Souls.
I've watched people play Dark Souls, I can see that it's a good game.
I've never played Dark Souls. I played Bloodborne, but it's kind of the same actually.
It's very similar style of game.
Yeah, you're in for 5 minutes, you're dead 10 times, you break the TV and
Yeah.
And the controller and flow your
and the
controller.
controller and your girlfriend's face, and then you go to prison, and then
So
apparently
yeah,
you played a much more serious version of it than anybody else did, but
no, because Weapon last night was after we did our GTA stream. I thought like I'll do like just like another stream just to wind down. I was going to do Assassin's Creed, and it was a mission to infiltrate a fortress and rescue a guy. And I thought, okay, I can stream this. But then halfway through, I thought to myself, like, no, I can see I'm going to get very frustrated with this, so I'm just going to stop the stream, like, say sorry, I'm going to stop the stream now. And I don't know, I must have been about 3 or 4 times, just like not getting anywhere. And I thought to myself, I'm really not enjoying this. So I like turn it on, turn it off, try to do a stream on LA Noire, then thought to myself, I'm not in the mindset for this. And I thought to myself, yeah, maybe I shouldn't play Assassin's Creed for a while. Which, for that sort of game, and the fact that I normally knock them over in about 2 weeks, is really not good.
yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, if it is that they've decided Dark Souls is really successful, let's make our game like Dark Souls, that's all well and good for the people that like Dark Souls, but the people that like Dark Souls don't tend to like Assassin's Creed, because Assassin's Creed hasn't been Dark Souls up to this point, and suddenly making Assassin's Creed Dark Souls isn't going to win them over.
No, because they've got Dark Souls. Why would they play a game that's...
What you want to focus on is keeping the people that play Assassin's Creed happy by keeping Assassin's Creed as Assassin's Creed.
And another point I should mention, which ties back to our original discussion, when I was playing it, on the loading screen you get tips on the loading screen, like, hide from enemies in bales of hay, use heavy attack to break a shield, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Guess what one of the tips was? If you want to level up faster, visit our store.
Oh.
Wait,
I can't
what?
see how that references anything that we talked about in this podcast. but...
Say
That's
that
what it is.
again?
That's what it said. It said, if you want to level up faster or get better gear faster, why not visit our store?
Oh.
I have that on video somewhere. I think that's on one of the AC videos that I'm putting out. It actually has that bit on the video.
That.
So yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Why would they?
They have tried to do it in the previous 2 games, to be honest.
That.
They had like Helix credits that you could buy with real money, which is their premium currency for unlocking upgrades faster. But again, you didn't have to buy it because you could quite easily get it during gameplay.
That's weird that they would.
But as Assassin's Creed actually have that kind of loot.
It's not so much
mini
loot
market.
boxes. Yeah, it's not loot boxes. It's premium currency, and they've had it since about Unity.
Yeah, okay. Well, I stopped playing Assassin's Creed since Black Flag, so.
You should play Syndicate. Syndicate was amazing.
I couldn't get
Yeah.
into Syndicate. I kind of. I mean, a lot of my love for Assassin's Creed left after Unity. I really just hated Unity, and that ruined Assassin's Creed for me.
See,
I
I liked Unity fine. Unity was okay. I loved the multiplayer of it.
Say that, I will give it that. Like, the multiplayer was the only thing I.
I'm really
don't
sad that the
play
multiplayer
Assassin's Creed for
hasn't
the
been in
multiplayer.
anything else.
We didn't get it. Yeah, but Syndicate I really enjoyed, but then I would enjoy that because it's London and I'm in London. And to be fair, it was amazing in terms of London.
The London in it was amazing, yes.
And even the missions themselves are good because it's like what I was saying before, it was so nicely paced. Everything you did, they were like, side quests, but they never distracted from the story and was geared towards that story.
Well,
Yeah.
for me, I mean, the reason I stopped after Black Flag is because of Unity, but not because of what the game would be or the gameplay or anything like that. Just because they fucked up with French history, and that I could not forgive.
I heard that they'd taken some liberties with it for the story.
It was horrible. Just to sum up, French Revolution is something I'm deeply fond of. It's the part of French history I'm really focusing on and really loving, because there are so much details and so much subplots and betrayals, etc., etc. It's the time we fucked everything up, and when I saw what they were doing with that, I said, okay, you made yourself an enemy.
And they shall rue the day that they got on Skarr's bad side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I saw they did Syndicate with London, and even if I wanted to try it, I was afraid they would fuck up with English history too, which I'm deeply fond of. And
it's not really a historical event that they focus on in that one. It's the setting is the Industrial Revolution, but that's the setting. That's not an actual event that's taking place at the time.
The biggest difference they had with Assassin's Creed,
for Assassin's Creed, is not to fuck with historical stuff, but to be like, hey, it's just around this time,
or in some cases to be part of it.
With Unity, they really focused on what's happening during French Revolution, and what pisses me off even better is that the company that makes your Assassin's Creed is French.
Yeah, it's true.
So that for the Crusades in the first game, I didn't mind them to rip off the story of the assassins, the Templars, and all that kind of jazz. But here on the game, they used historical characters, changed them all around to make them enter their own goal, and at the end, it did not sound like it sounded like French Revolution was happening because of the Templars and the assassins to fight for nothing really. So that pissed me off greatly.
I think who was about to speak? Was it John or Andrew? I know one of them was.
Nope.
I was just going to say that one of the big things that changed in Syndicate compared to older Assassin's Creed games. In older Assassin's Creed games, a lot of the named characters that you assassinate were characters who died at that time. So sort of, they didn't die by assassin that we know of.
But they died anyway, yeah.
Especially in Assassin's Creed 1, I know that's definitely a thing. The historical characters who you assassinate died at that time in that town.
Yeah.
And I'm fairly certain that carried on through most of the rest of the Assassin's Creed series. And that was one of the big problems that they had with Assassin's Creed 3, was that it was getting so close to present day that a lot of that sort of fog of time that they were dealing with meant that they were probably getting a bit close. And apparently they really had that problem with Assassin's Creed Syndicate, because they had to go out and ask the people's surviving relatives if it was okay.
I mean, I think a lot of the characters in Assassin's Creed Syndicate were fictional. There weren't that many historical characters
who
were
actually historical characters who got assassinated. They had to check, which is why that most of the people that you actually do assassinate are fictionalized versions of characters who did exist. So yeah, I personally found that quite interesting. But yeah, I enjoyed Syndicate, but I never finished it, and that was kind of the first Assassin's Creed that I never finished, and I've not even picked up Origins yet. I mean, there have been so many games to play at the moment anyway. With Destiny and Injustice and Shadow of War.
How's Injustice, by the way?
I'm really enjoying Injustice. I've not finished the storyline of the game, like the main storyline of the game, but the fighting mechanics are good, and I'm really looking forward to the next character pack.
Did you always love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I'll always love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You know I was going to say it.
I knew you were going to say it, but it's true. And they're going to be in it, and they look awesome. And I just watched the trailer today, and they look
To be
awesome.
fair, you told me this, and I, like, me being the comic book fan that I am, was like, oh, how are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles going to be in that? That's so weird, and it will look weird, and it's so wrong, and how dare they do this to the game? And then I was like, well, they put Hellboy in, and I just went, that's cool. I like Hellboy. So
I mean,
I then found out the story reason for Hellboy, and then I was like, oh, well, if they're just going to do that for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, then they could just have anyone in it.
I don't know if you've seen it, but like the Hellboy that in it. Oh,
Yeah, that.
English. The
We understood
Hellboy
what you
that
said.
is in the game. I don't know if you've actually looked at the footage of him at all in the gameplay yet, Drew, or if you've just looked up.
I have looked at some gameplay stuff.
He's just like the comic book version of him. He's not a realistic looking Hellboy. They've not done like a Ron Perlman from the film style Hellboy. They've done a this guy looks like he's walked out of the pages of one of the comics Hellboy. And that looks awesome, and it just works. And so I am excited to see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in this game too.
Yeah, it'd be good. It could be good.
I mean, I don't know if you actually read, Drew, but did you read either of the Batman crossovers they've done?
No.
The Batman crossovers they did were awesome. And as a fan of the Turtles... Sorry, what was that?
No, sorry, I was just saying, usually the Batman crossovers are awesome in general.
I mean, yeah, it helps that Batman was one half of the crossover. But they've done two crossovers between Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. One of them is the realistic Batman from DC Comics crossing over with the realistic-ish Turtles of the IDW comics, sort of the grown-up crossover, effectively, for grown-up comic book nerds such as myself. And then they did the 90s cartoon animated series Batman crossing over with the Nickelodeon cartoon series Turtles, which is for the grown-up comic book nerd like me who grew up with the cartoon. And it's just silly and fun, and just like the TV series, but with both of these characters coming together, and it's awesome. And so I'm looking forward to seeing the Turtles cross over with all the other DC characters, because I'll always love the Turtles. I feel like we're getting to a rapping RP type point.
I think so, yeah.
So before we wrap up, I've got some pieces of news.
Oh.
So I thought, in the style of something that discusses the crazy and wacky news in a style that we've done on various things, I'll wrap up with some also in the headlines news.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you guys feel free to dive in with comedic responses and repartee and stuff. Doncaster City Council are naming a new gritting machine, or actually two new gritting machines, a new gritting machine and a new snowplow. And so they've decided that the sensible way of doing this is a Twitter vote.
That always works well.
So, Drew, can you guess the name of our new, or Doncaster City Council's new snowplow?
I know this. You've told me this, and I've had to look this up for something else.
Ah, well, spoilers. The new snowplow is David Plowie.
Yeah.
And the new gritting machine is the Gritsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Anti-Slip Machine.
Really?
Gritty McGritflace and Gary Gritter were banned as potential names, but also in the running for the Doncaster Gritting World Cup were Grit Van Dyke, True Grit, Rule Britannia, and Salt Disney.
I like Rule Britannia, really.
In the finals, David Plowie beat out Basil Salty, while Gritsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Anti-Slip Machini won the vote against Spready Mercury.
Spready Mercury.
So they will the Gritsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Anti-Slip Machini and David Plowie will go up alongside the fellow gritting machines of Brad Grit, Gritney Spears, the Sub-Zero Hero, Mr. Plow, and Usain Salt. Meanwhile, and I don't think I've mentioned this on stream yet, but in Sydney, they held an official vote to name their new ferry.
Ferry.
So, Drew, did I tell you about the ferry in Sydney?
No.
Can you guess what the Twitter voted name for the new ferry in Sydney was?
No, I can't. I don't think I even want to.
The top voted name for the new ferry in Sydney, it's gonna go in Sydney Harbour, was Boaty McBoatface.
Come on.
They said, "That's great, guys. Thanks for the vote, but there's already a boat called Boaty McBoatface, and we can't name our boat Boaty McBoatface. It's the submarine on the boat that should have been called Boaty McBoatface is called Boaty McBoatface. So they said we can't call our ferry Boaty McBoatface because that will cause confusion. So we'll go with the second place in the competition, which was Ferry McFerryface."
Very different.
So yeah, good on you, Sydney. You actually did follow through with it. The ferry is called Ferry McFerryface.
Ferry McFerryface.
Meanwhile, Sweden had a vote on a new line of city trains, and so Sweden now has Trainee McTrainface. So yeah.
There's a theme with these names. I can't see what it is.
No, I can't, Geoff. You met Geoff Face.
I'm sorry, but I can't wait for the sinking of Ferry McFerryface.
So look forward to our new podcast starting next month of Podcasty McPodcastface.
What would we discuss on that podcast?
Faces.
Can I plug a podcast that I've just started listening to?
In a moment, let me tell you this final piece of news.
Mhm.
So there's a group of people. They call themselves the Flat Earth Theorists.
Oh yes.
They believe
What
the
do they
Earth is
do?
flat. Flat.
Yes.
It's not round, it's flat.
Yeah.
Like a piece of paper.
Like a piece of paper. I'm
Hopefully
not
not as thin as a piece of paper.
I'm not sure if they also believe it is on the back of a turtle supported by 4 elephants, but it's possible, who knows. Well, Mike Hughes is one such person. He believes that the Earth is flat. He is also a rocket scientist.
Okay, that's a joke.
And, well,
That's a joke.
yeah, it's a bit of a joke. He's built a rocket and intends to launch himself into the air to prove once and for all
it's flat.
the Earth is as flat as a pancake.
Come on.
Sorry, I called him Mike Hughes. I forgot to give him his nickname. Mad
Like
Mike
Mike
Hughes
Oh, sorry.
intends to launch himself into the air on a homemade rocket as a part of a bid to prove that the Earth is flat. He's spent £15,000 building a steam-powered rocket
steam powered.
It's steam powered. I've not got to the best bit yet. I'm going to save that. He intends to launch himself to the height of 1,800 feet over California from the back of a converted motorhome that he purchased from Craigslist.
This gets better.
He has been sponsored by the Flat Earth Research Group and plans subsequent trips to try and observe the flatness of the Earth for himself.
Well, we won't need to worry about him because he will never get into the space alive.
I would like to now read you a quote from Mad Mike Hughes, the rocket scientist, who is going to launch himself from a rocket that he has constructed from his own science. He declared, "I don't believe in science. I
suggest a round of applause just for that.
That was enough for me to know. Knew I needed to read this out to you guys. I know about aerodynamics and fluid dynamics and how things move through the air, but that's not science. That's a formula."
Yeah.
Oh dear. One of my favourite bits about the Flat Earth Society, just quickly, when Twitter changed their icons so that it went to a round picture instead of a square picture.
Right.
And people were saying, the Flat Earth Society, we don't believe the Earth is round, and someone was saying, yeah, look at your Twitter handle.
Right, can I plug another podcast now?
Apparently he's already launched himself in a rocket once. So, that's great.
And he survived. That's not great.
Speaking of the risks of his potential flight, he said, "It's scary as hell, but none of us are getting out of this world alive. But some of us try not to leave it in a fireball of our own creation." So, Drew, you're listening to a podcast.
Yeah, so I've found a podcast, or what a podcast was recommended to me, because it features two podcast groups that I quite like. Has anyone heard of the Mcelroy Brothers?
Nope.
No,
so they're,
I want to say yes.
So the Mcelroy Brothers, they do, one of them does some stuff with IGN. He does like Monster Factory videos on YouTube. They run the Adventure Zone podcast, the D&D podcast. They're mostly known for a podcast called My Brother and Me, where they do regular advice and whatnot. They're quite funny. I quite like them. And has anyone heard of the Worst Idea of All Time podcast?
Nope.
No.
The Worst Idea of All Time podcast is two New Zealand comedians who watch the same film every week for a year and review it every time.
Oh no, I have heard of that before.
Because I've told you about this, John. So the first time they did it they watched Grown Ups 2, City 2, and most recently they've watched the what's it called? We Are Your Friends, which has the dude from High School Musical trying to be a DJ. It's really bad.
I mean, that's the point of the podcast, though. So
they watch really bad films and review them every week. I've actually watched that one, and I listened to most of. I'm waiting for them to finish out their year of, and then I'm going to binge watch the last few. But they've teamed up to do a yearly podcast. That's right, yearly. Podcast called Until Death Do Us Blart. Would anyone like to take a guess at what they do?
Are they going to watch Paul Blart Mall Cop?
Close. Add a number.
Are they going to watch Paul Blart Mall Cop 2?
Yes.
Every year until they die?
Every year until they die. They have proposed so far that if any one of them dies, they will have to get somebody else to take over their role on the podcast. Until death do they part.
There we go.
they've got three episodes out. They've been doing it. This is their third year doing it. It is hilarious. In all of the best ways. All hate the film and rip on the film, and the film sounds terrible. But in like the best way for doing a podcast like this.
It's Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
So far they've come up, and this, bear in mind, I've only listened to the first 2 of the 3 that are out currently. They've already decided that Paul Blart is actually an immortal being.
Is that a...
Right.
Yeah.
And the rules of death do not apply to him. He's trying to die, but he never will. And one of the other characters is a ghost who can no longer leave the hotel that he occupies. And will also exist forever.
Is Paul Blart not a mall cop, so why is he in a hotel?
Because in Paul Blart 2, John, he goes to Vegas to go to a security guard trade show, because it's well known that security guards don't get equipment for themselves. They have to go and buy their own, apparently. So they go to a trade show every year. And then apparently there's also, Paul Blart is also apparently the surprise to even himself keynote speaker.
I don't know why I asked, really.
And yeah, so they review this. That's their plan, is that every year around about the time of Thanksgiving they get together and they will record, watch and review Paul Blart 2.
Although I gotta say, I like the idea of having a yearly podcast. I think we could keep to that schedule.
I think we could keep to that.
I mean, if you want to find a terrible film, I'm so up for doing a yearly review.
The only thing is that to make a yearly podcast, maybe don't make it a yearly torture.
Yeah, can we not do something nice yearly?
Yeah.
I
mean, obviously, I'd like to do something nice more frequently than yearly.
No, the rest of the year is just miserable. It's just that one time. It's
one of the guys accidentally says that we're watching this film every day till we die, and they all were like, no, God, no, you've got it wrong. And he was like, no, I mean, yeah, what are you guys on about? No, we're doing this every day, aren't we? But no, yeah, it's a good listen. You should give it a listen. It's hilarious.
Well, fair enough. As we're plugging things that aren't me or us, I'm going to quickly plug. I've been listening to some podcasts as well. Welcome to Night Vale is a great podcast. If you like,
I've heard most of that, but I kind of drifted away from it. But yeah, it's. Sorry, I interrupted you. Yeah.
It's a very funny, weird podcast that's based around a radio show.
It's just that
in a weird fictional town of Night Vale.
Night Vale. It's just the way, he introduces it. There's a new dog park. Dogs are locked down in the dog park. People are not allowed in the dog park. Stay away from the dog park. Do not enter the dog park.
Do not look at the dog park.
Yeah.
I don't listen to it myself, but my friend does say it's very good for doing things like that, and they're like.
Have you met the Glow Cloud yet, John?
Yes.
All hail the Glow Cloud.
All hail the Glow Cloud. I listened to it for a while to try and catch up, and then I just decided recently I had more time to listen to podcasts, and so I've started listening to it again from further on in the run. So I'm basically listening to the up-to-date ones now, having missed a few in the middle there. But it's good. Also, Quirkline is a podcast done by some people that is basically the same sort of a thing. It's a weird radio show done in a fictional town of Unzburg.
That's more improv, though, isn't it?
That is an improvisational podcast. But it's a very similar thing. It's a comedy radio show set in a weird town where weird stuff happens on a regular basis. what I particularly like about it is it's done by the guys at Loading Ready Run, who I'm a fairly big fan of, and they leave in the occasional bit where they burst out into laughing in the middle of a take.
Yeah.
And then they cut back into it. So it's apparently it's heavily edited improv. So it is all improvised. They don't plan anything really beforehand. They do about 2 hours or so of improv, then they cut it down to about a 15-minute podcast. But they do leave in the occasional bit where they burst out laughing in the middle of a take. It's cool to listen to. I like it. It's not been updated for a while, but they have said they are going back to it soon, and that their plan is to build up a backlog of it, so that rather than it being a sporadic release schedule, they can actually like release a season of it and then take a break again.
If you guys like that, I haven't listened to it in a while, but if you tried the Thrilling Adventure Hour?
No.
The Thrilling Adventure Hour, they do like performance, like it's a performance podcast, like they're telling a story.
Right.
They do a few different stories. The one I listen to is I'm just gonna myself. Sorry, I don't really prepare anything when I do this. To be fair, I wasn't really expecting to.
We really
talk
weren't
about this.
actually prepared to do the podcast discussion. At all.
Marshall on Mars is really good. It's they do it's like a 60s radio play style thing about Sparks Nevada, who is the Marshal on Mars, and it's his adventures. Nathan Fillion's in it. He has a character in it who pops up at sometimes. It's really good. Out. But it is one of those ones that once you do catch up, which is what stopped me from watching it, is because they do like 4 different plays. Like the one that if you listen to just one of them, like I did, it kind of gets annoying and you kind of drop out.
So now that we've said some things for you to put in your ear holes, we're going to finish and wrap up for this evening.
It's been good. It's been fun.
Yeah.
We should do this more often.
As I say, the plan for this is that it's going to be a monthly thing. And so sometime in December, we're going to come back and we're going to do this again. And we might have some different people with us. I don't exactly know when in December we're going to do it, because if we do it about now, it's going to be Christmas Eve, and we're not going to be doing it live now.
Can I just do one more podcast? Because, we're near the 2 hour mark. There's Hackable by McAfee. Have you guys listened to this one?
McAfee is in the people who do
the security.
No.
So Hackable is a podcast which is basically this dude who is like, I want to know all of these hacking stories. How true are they? Can hackers really do all of the stuff that they say that they can do? Basically, it tends to be, he goes like, oh, have you seen this in a film, or have you seen like this craze? Let's go and explore that. So like the first episode is he wants to look at like public networks at like CAFs, like free Wi-Fi at CAFs.
Right.
And hacking them. And they do a story in that where it's a 7-year-old girl. They like to show people how easy it was to hack those networks. They got a 7-year-old girl who wasn't particularly good with computers, gave her a laptop, put her in a CAF, and said, hack the network. And within 7 minutes, she'd hacked the network. She just looked up how to do it on Google.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah.
But then they go through and explore these concepts. Like the latest one I really like, because they're like, oh, you've got all of these like home security models, aids, talking things like Alexa and Google Home and all of those voice assistants, and like, could those be hacked and do malicious things and whatnot? And there was 2 really interesting things from that episode which I liked, which was one, they did a quick story where they talked to a bloke who basically wrote down, how you can go like okay, Google, tell me a joke. Siri, tell me a joke. Alexa, tell me a joke.
Yeah.
They wrote down all of the jokes club and performed all of the jokes without telling anyone that's what they were doing to find out which assistant was the funniest.
So did 3 different people do that?
One dude did all of them, did the jokes from across all of them, and they like measured the audience's responses to each of the jokes and stuff.
Fair
Find
enough.
out which was the funniest assistant. Any guesses?
Google.
Was the funniest?
Yay.
Who was the least funniest?
Siri.
Yes.
Yay.
Siri was consistently the least funniest. Apparently, they're not like professionally written jokes. Alexa performed well and got a few really good laughs, and there are some comedians who have worked on them. Google Assistant was consistently the funniest, and apparently they've had people from Pixar work on those jokes.
Hey Google, tell me a joke.
Okay, here you go. Did you hear the one about the chicken crossing the road? It was poultry in motion.
Was it funny?
Did anybody pick up on that? No?
No.
No.
Hey, did you hear the one about the chicken crossing the road? It was poultry in motion.
Oh, so bad. The other thing that was kind of fun in that episode is they were like, so the hack for it, because every episode they perform like one hack to see, try and get as close to it. And the hack they did, they basically found this one story where you could use ultrasonics to talk to Alexa and Google Home and all of those without humans being able to hear the command.
That's worrying.
Yeah. Hey John, no, because as they point out, they had to rent $3,000 worth of speaker equipment that they had to set up somewhat near the Alexa in order to hear it properly and at a frequency that you can hear it. Like, it's not like they could do it on a phone. They tested that.
That's less worrying.
They were like, the hack is there, it can be done,
but it's a fact to do.
Yeah, you're probably going to notice someone like break into your home, walk up with like £3,000 worth of speaker equipment and point it at your Alexa, and just go, and then just go, Alexa, add toiletries to my.
I mean, surely there are a lot easier hacks that you could do to these things. Not suggesting that, guys. Don't do stuff unless you're allowed to.
Yeah, basically all of the other hacks that they mentioned that they could find that does work, you have to attach stuff to the device.
Right.
One that is like non-invasive, like you don't have to attach anything, it's just not very easy.
It's just you need $3,000 worth of speakers or equipment really near the thing.
My only downside against this podcast though is that I don't know, and I would never hazard to guess the name of the person who actually does the podcast, but Mr. Head of Security, I think his name is, I have a feeling his name is Geoff. So guess his name, because every episode, like the person who's presenting is like, "Hi, my name's my name." Hi, it's like, "Hi, my name's Drew. This is the podcast." Woo! But every time, because it's sponsored by McAfee, going like twice an episode, this happens. They go and speak to like Geoff, head of security at McAfee, and they can't just be like, "Oh, we'll go back and speak to Geoff." It's, "Hey, we're going to go and have a word with Geoff, the head of security from McAfee." Requested that he like, that's his full name. He's not Geoff. He's like, "Hi, I'm Mr. Head of Security at McAfee." Single time. It's rather annoying. Yeah. But it's very good. It's interesting. They last like 20 minutes. They usually just do like a main hack and then they like talk about related stories. And
anyway,
they do some really fun stuff. It's good.
I'm going to finish trying to wrap up now, please.
No, let's wrap up.
Guys, those are some suggestions for things to put in your ear holes. Those are some news stories that have been happening that we've hopefully put in your eye holes. We're not really able to access the nose holes just yet, but we're working on that technology. We will be back with
smell podcast.
We'll be back with some more podcasting goodness, as I say, next month, sometime in the middle of December. we're going to be back with some more gaming next week. I don't know what the plans are for earlier in the week, but this time next week, Drew and myself and James from Luke and James Plays are going to be playing some Tabletop Simulator. And so we'll be back for that. We might be back for something earlier in the week next week as well. Before you go, do hit the little button down below that says follow. Is it down below or is it up above? Hit the button, it's somewhere. It says follow, so that you know when we're streaming again, and also to get notifications. If you guys want to drop some money in the sub pot, that'd be great. You can now sub us, and that will give us the chance to make even better content for you guys. And we will give you all sorts of awesome rewards that we're still finalising the details of. But they're coming and they're cool, and you'll probably want at least some of them, maybe. And do also head over to follow us on all the other social media networks. So we're on Twitter and above. Yes, it's a heart above. Thank you, Sean. We are on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on the YouTubes, where you'll be able to see the replays of our streams. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Tom Baker returns to Doctor Who to finish the last 1979 episode.
Oh yes, that is also a news story that occurred. Tom Baker came back to play the Doctor sometime after he left.
Yay!
Bye. Yeah, I very quickly just wanted to get in there with the last thing before signing out.
Where I am on the Facebook and the Twitter and things is in the down below, but these guys, where are you guys? Where can we find you guys on Facebook or Twitter or YouTubes?
This is where you guys talk now.
On Twitter, I'm at _ImageSmith. I very rarely use it, so it's probably not helpful. I have a photography page, Drew, facebook.com/DrewTheImageSmith.
Never heard of it.
I do cosplay pictures, and I'm going to just throw it out there because I need to start promoting a bit more. I'm looking to open up a board game cafe in Newcastle, and my Facebook page for that is facebook.com/meepleperk.
Woo! Geoff.
And
Geoff or Skarr.
Well, I'm on Final Boss Fight anyway, so I think Skarr better go on.
Skarr.
Okay. So you can meet me. No, not meet me. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube on Geek World, which is the channel I'm in with two other pals. We are French. We are very, very, very friendly, and we'll be delighted to have you with a bottle of wine.
And they're also very French. I don't know if that's come up yet. But yes,
Oui, bien sûr.
We'll be back, as I say, next month and next week, and also on the YouTubes. We'll be back sooner than that, even. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Laters.
And as Sean says, go follow these guys. We're cool. So...
That's the way the news goes.
I want... We are all the Groovies. All of us are the Groovies. I am also just going to quickly roll the credits.
Are we still live?
We are still live. We are still live on Facebook.
This is an awkward way to end the podcast when we're like, are we still on?
Are we still on?
How does this
still
thing work?
going?